You're listening to The Inevitable Radio Show. I'm Bill Sumner. I'm going to repeat some of the language that you used. You said, I'm trying to change. I've made changes for better choices. And in the distant past, choices made years ago become alligators for me today. Number of things, Joe. First of all, it doesn't matter whether the alligators are distant past or distant future. Alligators are alligators. Challenges are challenges. We all have those. So one thing in this control reality belief system that you are striving for greatness and you are striving to change a process and change how you look at the planet. A lot of people think, well, my fear should go down and my challenges should go down because I'm making a change for the better. You said I'm making better choices. But if you're striving for greatness, if you're making better choices and you're taking challenges in life today head on, and you are moving towards your greatness, moving towards more business success, do you think your fear would go up or down? As you strive for greatness, as you rid yourself of old alligators, so you think.
Well, the fear should go down if
making
better choices.
But see, this is the counterintuitive work of neural programming. Climbing an 800-foot cliff and climbing an 8-foot stepladder, if you're a free climber and you're afraid of heights, a cliff climber has the same physiology as a stepladder climber does, and the cliff climber is never more alive in the difficulty of climbing a cliff, although they've never been closer to death. Their meanings is they're never more alive. And climbing the stepladder, you're never closer to death, period. So as you try to climb the cliffs of life, as you try to go higher, as you try to become something you've never done before, because many people, when they're in old technology and old patterns and programs, they're not striving for greatness. They're trying to avoid failure or trying to avoid pain. And as you know, trying to avoid something attracts that and encourages that and keeps you stuck in it, as opposed to, okay, I'm going to reach for greatness. I'm going to do something greater with my life now. That actually puts you at more risk. Your fear would go up. And as you climb that ladder of success, the problems and challenges get bigger. So the real challenge is, as you make better choices in your life, as you work towards a really great strategy for dealing with alligators, because alligators are going to get bigger, not smaller, and it's going to get more perilous, not easier, but great men and women have a great strategy for dealing with their fear. Does that point make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes,
All right.
It does.
So that's point one. Point two, we want to talk then about what's our strategy, what's our recipe, what's our neural map for dealing with an alligator. So give me a couple of sentences. So whether it's a distant past problem and you've got a tax bill, or it's a new problem, you just bought a new building for your business, you're expanding, the economy tanks. There's going to be alligators biting us in the butt virtually all the time. And again, as you commit to this path of greatness, there's going to be more, not less. So, Joe, what is your strategy for any alligator that's biting you in the ass?
I would say what comes to mind is a good scout is always prepared. Be prepared for any contingency.
So what does that mean in this instance? It's an old tax bill. How do you prepare for an old tax bill?
I guess not to repeat history. What I hear you saying is, be prepared for anything, any contingency in the future,
Because ultimately,
pay your bills.
Ultimately, doesn't this problem just really represent, if you had $1 million, wouldn't you just either write the check and send the tax department on the way, hire a great attorney to fight the tax bill? You do whatever you would do, but you need money to deal with that challenge, correct?
Correct.
So does this really boil down to, it's an old tax bill, it's an old alligator, gosh, my past always haunts me? Or is it just like, crap, I'm always one step ahead of the Grim Reaper. I need more cash in my business?
That is a good way of putting it. But on the second, another part of that issue is the principle of the thing. I mean, and of course, I can't get held back by that. It's like 14 years later, and I get a bill, and I cannot either confirm or deny that it was paid because, once again, records from that period are gone.
So you hire a good attorney, or you go to court and represent yourself. The problem, again, Joe, it's not you came back to the past. You came back to, but look, it's a cliff, or but look, it's a stepladder. And I'm asking you to go, but what is your strategy for dealing with it? You said be prepared. I'm asking you, how can you be prepared for something that's never happened to you before? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Let me give you a longer metaphor. I'll make it quick. Most children are raised with this command, don't spill the milk. The only way you can succeed in that environment when you know what you're not supposed to do to be successful is to think of all the ways you could fail. I could spill the milk this way, I could spill the milk that way, and then click on it and say, don't do that. So in that space of not spilling the milk, you've actually raised your probability of spilling it, and how you feel about yourself is connected to the meaning that your brain is creating. So if you're focused now, as you understand, don't spill the milk, spilling milk produces bad feelings for most people, tension, anxiety, stress, failure. And as a consequence, people who try really hard to not spill the milk have a really tough time. It's worse than that, again, because if you're conscientious, you don't think of 50 ways to spill milk. You think of 200 ways to spill milk. So now as you walk from the refrigerator to the counter where your glass is, you're like thinking, oh, a meteor could come through the ceiling and rip the pitcher out of my hands. So now I've got to worry about meteors too. So the more conscientious a child is, and the harder he or she tries to succeed, when the command sequence that initiates their success begins with a negative, meaning don't do that, don't screw up this sales call, don't lose this client, don't mess up this opportunity. They've made it incrementally harder for themselves. The more conscientious they are, they've tripled how hard it is, and how they're going to feel about themselves as they try to succeed is not very good. The entire command and feelings and success picture alters when you were told as a child, pour the milk carefully. Because pouring milk carefully, you know how to do that, and every thought, every strategy lends itself to success, and it feels good. So many times, the top 10% that I talk about all the time in this life space that has virtually everything on the planet, they're more successful not because they're smarter or better or more talented. It's just that the recipes and strategies that many of them use are better than the ones for the conscientious average people that are trying really, really hard not to spill the milk. Does that all make sense?
It does. It does.
So to be prepared, does that mean to you, I'm giving you a hint here, pour the milk carefully, or does your typical be prepared strategy is about don't spill the milk?
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm looking at it now. Pour the milk carefully.
So if you're in that strategy space, it doesn't matter whether you have old records or not. It doesn't matter if the problem comes from something fresh and brand new today. It's what is my strategy for dealing with challenges in my life? Now, one of my favorite people on the planet, Eleanor Roosevelt, has a great saying for success, and it begins with a question. And I ask the same question she does. Is failure the opposite of success?
I would say yes.
Most people do. Of course it is. If I'm not succeeding, I'm failing. If I failed at something, I didn't succeed. She changes the meaning of it, though. You probably knew it was a trick question, but thanks for being honest. She says, not only is failure integral to success, in order to succeed, you must fail to learn the critical lessons of success. The greater the success that you want in life, the greater your failure must be en route to getting it. The opposite of success is not trying. And that's for many people when they take a stutter step, okay, I'm ready to change, or they take a stutter step, I went to seminar, I heard a great radio host on the Inevitable radio show. And I'm going to stutter step and I'm going to try and change something tomorrow, but then they get hit with an obstacle. And whether it's from your past or from your current day, it doesn't matter. Do you view the obstacle as my ability to pay this or not, to deal with this or not, to have the records or not, to get a good attorney to fight it or not? Am I failing because I'm not prepared? Am I failing because, gosh darn it, there it is again. I tried for greatness. I made a commitment. I watched The Secret. I read a book. I was ready to be great. And life just kicked me in the groin again. Life punched me in the mouth again. I'm just doomed never to succeed. That's a strategy.
Thank you for listening to the Inevitable Podcast. Please visit our website for more information on this extraordinary coaching system at www.theinevitableyou.com. Then, sign up for your 2-week free trial of our membership to gain access to hundreds of hours of amazing content and tools just like this. Now, back to Bill.
When you commit to have something in your life, whether it's success at business, a successful relationship, a successful body and a great health, when you commit, and again, most people don't commit. They talk about it. They should it to death. I should lose some weight. I should do this. I should get better at that. When you commit, by law, this is a law of life. There's only 3 outcomes. 1, you get it. Period. May not always be when, may not always be exactly how you envisioned it, but you get it. And one of the reasons why that's a great knowledge to have about this is many times you get it faster and better than you even ask for it. If you allow life to work properly and you just focus on what I want. So stay focused on the business or stay focused on creating the money for my family that I want. 2, you die en route to getting it. It's less than 1%. Get hit by a bus, get a disease, you're done, you check out. You didn't get what you wanted in that space, but it's less than 1%. The other 90+% just quit. They stop trying. They look at, I'm not supposed to be successful because I have old tax bills. Every time I try to be successful, something gets in my way and stops me. But the 10% look at it like Eleanor Roosevelt does, that whatever gets in my way, even if it's a failure, yay, I get a lesson. Even if it's an obstacle, yay, I'm getting stronger and smarter and better. Even if it's a kick to the groin, yay, because I'm going to be even more prepared than I was before. Their strategies for dealing with this, Joe, are bring it on, man. I don't care if it's old. I don't care if it's new, and it's not about holding me down. Everything that happens to me is teaching me a great lesson. I need to be more prepared. I need to make sure the cash reserves are more. I'll build an even bigger cash reserve as I continue to bring cash into my business. I'll bring even more new clients because that's who I am. That's what I'm focused on. That is what I must have. That, whether it's your 8-foot step ladder or your 800-foot clip, it doesn't matter. It is your commitment to being the greatest version of you. And nothing is going to stop you. Things can slow you down. Things can tangle you up. Things can get in your way. But an old expression in southern Ohio, there ain't no such thing as a tall hill for a high stepper.
Well, I thank you for the time, and you've given me a lot of good stuff to work with, a lot of good information and to think about, and I appreciate it. I thank you.
Have a great day, Joe. Your greatness, your challenges, your suffering, your successes, they are all programmable. They are all teachable. You can teach the psychology of being a superstar and a champion to your children, to your spouse. You can create magic and greatness in your life. far easier, far more doable than you've ever known. Traditional psychology, 100 years from now, will be judged somewhat harshly for some of the things that it's doing. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of caring people in the profession. But there's some really challenging things that it's doing to people's minds and heads. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. Change your strategies. You will have what you want. Follow the recipes. Take the most incredible chef. I ask in many of my seminars, how many of you are great cooks? And about half the hands go up. How many are good cooks? How many of you are extraordinary cooks? How many of you are off the charts, magical, amazing chefs? And as the hands go down for each layer, as I call out a higher level of a cook, the fact of the matter is you could take the greatest chef on the planet, and if you followed his or her recipe exactly, guess what you get? So the real challenge isn't that you're not a good cook. The real challenge is you got crappy recipes. The real challenge isn't that you're not capable of growing your business. It's not that you can't move from average salesperson to above average or above average to superstar. Superstar business owners and salespeople use different recipes and strategies than people that are average. It's not that they're smarter, better, or more capable. Every day on the planet, we see people that are not attractive or not the smartest or not the most physically gifted, but somehow we see them win and we root for them. We call them the underdog. And we root for them because somewhere in our hearts and souls it gives us a hope that we might be able to succeed. But this is all strategies. Now, at the same time, if you're using terrible strategies, you're going to have a belief system like a caller that I had several weeks ago. And God bless him, this guy's done great things for me. Because you've listened to my message this morning. You've heard me talk about greatness. You've heard me talk about what is possible. You've heard me challenge you to step up and create more greatness in your life. I will help you do this. But here's another strategy. Here's another recipe card you could be using as you listen to this. Danny, go ahead and play cut one for me.
I listened to this guy on the radio. I didn't have time to call in because I really wanted to tell him personally, well, how much LSD does this guy eat every day when he goes on there? It makes me want to puke. His trippy, hippie, pie in the sky, wonderful life, you can do this, you can do that. Bull crap. Just makes me sick to my stomach.
Gosh, that guy, I'm telling you, I send him love and energy. I hope he's creating the exact karma and life that he's intended to have here. But it's just a strategy. What kind of life do you think you live if you focus on greatness and hope and taking challenges and eating them for breakfast versus that guy? You think that guy's happy? You think he's got everything that he wants? You think his children are happy? You know, he's a great guy. I'm sure he's a great magical being having this wonderful human journey. And his human journey is obviously a painful one. But if you want more from your business, if you want more from your life, you can have it. Anybody can have it. You guys can have anything that you want. Do anything, be anything, have anything. Realize this. Traditional psychology has taught you that change is a process. But when you think about it, it's not a process. Change is a very simple moment in your mind when you stop doing something you no longer want to do, or you start doing something you do want to do. That's it. That's change. Everything else leading in and out of it is noise. The moment in time when you make a choice to do X or Y or to stop X or Y, that's when the change takes place. If you stop, start, you didn't really stop it, did you? You paused it. So if you quit smoking for 3 months, you've paused. You haven't quit. So some people can call that a process, if you will, but you're not in the process of quitting. You have to quit. When you say, I am in the process of, or I am trying to do this, those are what we call failure with honor words. It just leads us to stay stuck, to stay in pause, and to not change. If you understand the mechanics of stopping something or starting something, which neural processes are very well defined, you can stop anything and you can start anything you want. And when you think about it, you've already done that. A woman who can't quit smoking, the minute that stick turns blue and she's pregnant, she stops smoking. Just like that. There's no process there. That's a neural process we call leverage. You have to know your leverage. Why are you changing? And not hurting a fetus is a phenomenal leverage for a pregnant woman to quit smoking. So when you look at anything, starting a diet, creating more sales success, being a magical parent, being the greatest version of you, it's a strategy. It's a recipe. You can do it. You are inevitable. This journey you are having is incredible and magical. This is William Sumner. You've been listening to The Inevitable Radio Show. Have an incredible day.
Thank you for listening to the Inevitable Podcast. Please visit our website for more information on this extraordinary coaching system at www.theinevitableyou.com. Then, sign up for your 2-week free trial of our membership to gain access to hundreds of hours of amazing content and tools just like this.